Media day was today, and I got a lot of stuff from Tibbs that I want to talk about. Just things that he talked about today that I really want to get into. I think I'm just gonna start with Evan Fournier. Get that one out the way. All right. So I'm gonna play this small clip from Tom Thibodeau about Evan Fournier. All right, and then we can come at talk about it and figure out is Evan Fournier what's going on with Evan Fournier. But this is Tom Thibodeau on Evan Fournier, ladies and gentlemen. Take a listen.
I have great respect for him, and you come into the season. I didn't go into the season thinking we were going to do the things that we ended up doing. We did it because we weren't having success one way, so we adjusted. And then the next group that went in, like, it's hard to argue with 37 and 22 and a +5 net rating. So it is what it is, and then your job is to stay ready when so whatever it is that we're asking you to do, go out there and do it. Be part of the team. Put the team first.
All right, you heard him. That's Tom Thibodeau. Put the team first. All right. But basically said, Tom, Evan Fournier ain't playing. That's what it sounded like to me. I respect him for who he is in the league, blah, 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 blah. But for the most part, it sounds like he's saying he's not playing for this particular basketball team. You know what I mean? And the proof is in the pudding. When I took him out the lineup, we did better. Right? That's what it sounds like is going down with me, with Tom Thibodeau, and the way that he's thinking. What do you think, Tony? Is there any hope at all for Evan Fournier on this basketball team?
There's no hope for him as far as being in the rotation, but I do believe Tibbs when he says stay ready and be ready.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So God forbid, but if this situation comes up where we down bodies and we need you, he expects you to be ready, right. Physically ready, mentally ready, etc. Another thing that he said that I believe is we didn't go into the season saying things are going to be one way.
Right.
You know what I mean? They didn't expect to make that change. They made the change because of how things were going.
Right. I believe that. Now, let me ask you this. If there are injuries, right, injuries or anything like that, do you think that he'll go to Evan Fournier if, for some reason, the Knicks suffer early season injuries? I think Evan Fournier is going to be gone by the trade deadline. That's what I think. But if for some reason there are injuries, do you think Tom Thibodeau plays Evan Fournier?
Here's what I say. It has to be catastrophic because I'm talking about the injuries.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's going to have to be 3 guys down, all at the guard position. And that still might not be enough considering how many guards we have, considering he doesn't have a problem inserting Deuce into the lineup. I don't know if he'll go to any of these other younger two-way, other guys, but I know he'll go to Deuce before he goes to Fournier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it have to, it might have to be 4 guards down, but that would be the only way.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think, he's totally situational. Super duper situational, right? Super duper situational. We haven't heard whether or not, it sounds like he's at least coming into camp, right? I haven't heard anything about him not coming into camp, and just, staying or sitting home. So I think he's at least going to be in camp.
Yeah, when he came out and said they holding me hostage thing, I think that was because he already knew, hey, we haven't been able to move you. You know what I mean? We're not waiving you. You know what I mean? Like, we're not buying you out or whatever the case. He knew the situation he was coming into, hence why he made those comments.
Yeah.
Not necessarily on the brink of training camp, but close enough. You know what I mean? Because it was after FIBA that came out.
I mean,
It was days.
that
It was
wasn't that
days
long
after
ago.
FIBA.
Yeah, that wasn't
Yeah,
that long
you
ago.
know what I mean. And then not too far away from the start of the season.
Yeah.
Strategic.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how that is. My man Ron from Still Knicks Fans, he's going to be joining us in just a second. So as soon as he's ready, we're going to pop him in. And look, when you look at what the Knicks added as far as Dante DiVincenzo, there's no space whatsoever for Evan Fournier to play anywhere. I mean, we were already earlier on the Queens court arguing about minutes, right? And who would play what minutes. There's just no room. But what Tom Thibodeau does like about this basketball team is the versatility, right? He talked about the team's versatility. Let's take a listen. This is Tom Thibodeau discussing this team's, with the addition of Dante DiVincenzo, the versatility of this basketball team. Let's take a listen.
I love the versatility of those guys. And so they can play in multiple positions. They can play with the ball, without the ball. That's something that we've prioritized. And so I think, as with Quick, Dante's a very good rebounding guard. I think we all know how good Josh is rebounding the ball. And so we'll mix and match some too. RJ will be with that second group at times. And Dante will be with the starters some. They're going to mix and match.
Okay, let's talk about the versatility of that group, Tony. What do you think? I mean, how versatile is this group of players? Emmanuel Quickley, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart. I guess you throw, obviously you throw Quentin Grimes in there. I would say those four players right there. Just talk to me, about the versatility.
I mean, we kind of talked about it yesterday as well. I think Quickley and DiVincenzo are going to bring that deep versatility as far as being able to handle the ball or play off the ball. I don't know how much Josh Hart is really going to play on the ball, but we've seen him bring the ball up as well, especially off a rebound. Actually, one-man fast break plenty of times throughout the season. So I think that's what he's talking about with that versatility, being able to bring the ball up, you know what I mean? Get the rebound, bring the ball up, get the rebound, make a decision.
Right.
Do multiple facets, play multiple positions because of it. You know what I mean? He always used to reference positionless basketball. So if you know how to do dribble, pass, shoot, you know what I mean? You could play on the floor with other guys who could dribble, pass, shoot.
Right. And I think it's also about versatility on the defensive side of the ball too. You know what I mean? Because guys like Dante DiVincenzo can, possibly play three positions, defend three positions. Let me say that. Not play three positions, but defend three positions because of his ability to jump. And I think people underestimate that. The guy, he's got some bunnies. He's got some springs in his legs. You know what I mean? So his ability to jump, I think, allows him to be able to defend some taller guys. And I think he has a strong lower body. You know what I mean? Which I think makes him a versatile defender. Of course, we know Josh Hart is a versatile defender. Quentin Grimes is a versatile defender. And Emmanuel Quickley can defend the 1 and the 2. Maybe not as many threes because he's a little bit smaller than those guys. You know what I mean? But I think I think the Knicks definitely have a versatile group of guards. You know what I mean? And now it's going to be on Tom Thibodeau, man. You got this versatile group of guards. What are you going to do with them? You know what I mean? Ron, what's popping with you, man? What do you think about, Tom Thibodeau was talking about the versatility of this particular basketball team? What do you think?
Well, first off, shout out to the chat. Appreciate you guys. You're black and stuff. No, my bad. I forgot who I was. Shout out to my guy Tony and the Podfather Sim. Appreciate you guys as always having me on. I think that Tibbs has. It's kind of like you get a little scared. We would just talk about it on the show. Like when you give Tibbs what he wants, it can get a little scary. We've seen how he went crazy with Alec Burks. Like Alec Burks was his guy no matter what. Alec Burks is the type of guy, he told us, listen, he's the best possible option we got at point guard. If we had no center, Alec Burks would be at center. This is the best possible option we got at center. Like you never know with Tibbs. But I will say that, yeah, I think they're very versatile. The only one I would say out of that mix, but for different reasons, I think the versatility is yet to be seen with him, is Quentin Grimes. Because, I'm big on these whole, ancillary stats. Mm-hmm. And I think that, Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, Quickley, all three of those guys are around 6'3", 6'4", and they can all, rebound pretty good for their height. Some are better than others, but they can all get you, some rebounds here and there. They can all get you assists here and there. They can all score the basketball. They can shoot free throws. You know what I mean? They all know how to play defense. And Quickley may not have the athleticism, but they're all very versatile. So I think that's a really good problem for Tibbs to have. I think he's going to use that to the best of their ability. I think he's going to interchange them. Now, I would love to, because he's a little handicapped with how he does things with a 9-man rotation. Like you can't exploit these guys too much. You're going to run them into the ground how does he make this work so that it's an advantage for us? Does it go back to how the Knicks were 2 years ago? Remember before the season started to fall apart for us, we had one of the best, second units benches in basketball. And we were using that to our advantage. Is he going to figure out a way that not only do we have a strong, starting unit, but now our bench has the missing pieces, the smart IQ basketball players, and I'm really saying Dante being a big part of that, to kind of carry us through these games. Because I definitely think it's a good problem to have.
Yeah. I think this is when, I guess you'll really get a chance to see. I mean, has Tibbs ever had this much versatility on a team throughout his career? Because a lot of people complain about how much, playing time he gives players, how much, he relies on just specific players. But has he had this much versatility?
I think this might be the first time he has the opportunity to even out minutes. I mean, we kind of just talked about that on Queen's Court, you know what I mean, or debated it, but there's a possibility of that even split of 25 minutes. Shout out to I don't know the gentleman who was on with us. That was my first time meeting, but shout out to him. He did the math and a lot of these guys, other than the Brunsons, Randles, even split at center with Mitch and Hartenstein, split the rest of the minutes 25 apiece, and it balances out perfectly. And then you give a take here or there based off of performance on any given night. Right. If we need more shooting, these guys play. We need more defense and rebounding, this guy's gonna play. You know what I mean? So I think it's a good situation.
Yeah. Do you think David Piccolo said we have too many guards? Do you think we have too many guards?
I do think we have too many guards. I do think in a perfect world, you know what I mean, we would have that 6'7", 6'8", 3/4. You know what I mean? I think that would be most important to us. You know what I mean? Like prototypical Paul George type guy.
Paul George, yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think Tibbs knows how to do the best with what he has. And to Ron's point, I do think, and your point too, Sim, you said earlier, he does like small guards. You know what I mean? So
He does. He seems to like small guards.
but that's not to say he doesn't like, you know what I mean? Like we've seen what he did with Luol Deng and how he utilized him. A lot of people don't even really know, like that was the guy who was getting the most minutes during those stretches. It wasn't
no doubt.
You know what I mean? So
doubt.
he does like we don't have that guy, so he's utilizing his second best favorite. You know what I mean? Second favorite option.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is, you know, when you have some time to kind of think about stuff, it doesn't always hit you right away. But when you actually have some time to start thinking about stuff, of course, who wouldn't want the prototypical 6'7", 6'8" guy at small forward that can play defense and knock down the three and give you a little bit of scoring punch when you need it? You want as much versatility as you can get. But when you start to think about it, how many of those guys are out there on different teams?
Right.
Like there's the guys you want, the Paul Georges, the Jaylen Browns. There's a good amount of those guys.
And then everybody else's potential.
Right.
Hey, you know what I mean? Like, he has the size and the you know what I mean, the weight and whatever. Like he looks like the guy, but he ain't there yet. You know what I mean?
And the other thing, Tony, too, is listen, those guys that are out there, guess what? Sometimes you get a 6'7", 6'8" guy, and you're getting more out of Josh Hart than you'll get out of that 6'7", 6'8" guy. So that's the thing. You may not have the prototypical guy you want, but if you can't get that guy, having a Josh Hart or a DiVincenzo, the way these guys play big gives you what you need in that package.
Yeah, they definitely play up. Another thing with Tibbs, like he got the best out of guys like Nate Robinson, guys like Ben Gordon, Kurt Franklin.
EP is your whip man.
Kurt Franklin.
Kurt Heinrich, excuse me. That's hilarious.
Oh man.
But you get the gist. He likes you know, small guards.
Yeah.
Short
Now
guards.
because in one of his interviews today, he talked about just, you know, a lot of the league plays small. He said, you know, you see a lot of those lineups. Do you think, because he said they designed this roster like on purpose. They purposely went out and looked for versatility, right? Do you think they looked at the way other teams are playing and said, we need to have small? They felt like they needed to have guys that were in that 6'4", 6'5" range. I mean, I still value having those 6'8" small forwards. I really do, you know, because but you know, does he feel like in order to guard like the Steph Curry guys, the Ja Morants, you know, Damian Lillard, and you know them type of guys, you know, you might need to send, you know, IQ, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart at those guys, you know, so that one guy doesn't wear down, you know, and to give them different looks.
I hope not. I hope that's not the case, to be honest with you, because like I think the small league thing is kind of getting overrated, and we've already seen how it backfired us in the FIBA games. You know, them teams play big over there, so it definitely didn't work for us. But the other thing you got to look at is, and it's not always the case. Some teams know how to play small and play very well at that size, right? But Denver is a bit, you know, they're a big team. They won the championship. Milwaukee was the front runner in the East. They got good size on that team. That's what you know. It's always that thing. You know, we used to always say the Knicks can play a lot of these teams well, but when they play Milwaukee, there's some like matchup problems. Same thing when we play a team like Orlando, because they've got good size at different positions. I don't necessarily know if this was your idea to go small, I don't like it. Now, if you just said, listen, I know this guy's a good player. I can bring him in here. He fits my system, and he'll give me what I need. Whereas that guy, I don't know if I can go get that guy that everybody's clamoring for. I can rock with that, but I hope this ain't the idea. Is that we need to start playing small because that's going to give us an advantage. Because I don't necessarily agree with that.
Yeah. We'll I mean, they're going to be playing small this year. No, there's no doubt about it.
No doubt.
Right?
No,
They're
No
going to be
doubt.
playing small. But
the funny
go
thing
ahead,
is
go ahead, Tony.
the three guys that we've passed up on or didn't get or whatever the case are small guards. If you want to go back to Donovan Mitchell, you want to talk about Dame Lillard, even Drew Holiday. His advantage throughout his career is that he's 6'5", but at the point guard position, you know what I mean, at the two guard position, which he would have played for us, it's almost like even kill. You know what I mean, like that takes away some of his advantage. But I think it's So I think what they're waiting for, if they're waiting, is a big, or you know what I mean, or a big wing. Like I think they know they're missing that, but they need the right one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Tom Thibodeau just seems to really like those small guards, you know what I mean, and relish in playing those small guards. I mean, I get it on one hand because, like, you can really attack with smaller guards. You know what I'm saying? You can attack. You can put a lot of pressure on the opposing team. But what happens when you get someone that's 6'8" that can attack and defend those smaller guards? Then what?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Then what? You know, and that's why I think it definitely poses a problem. And when you get guys that can, you know, when you're playing like the Kawhi Leonards and the LeBrons and teams like that, you know, it definitely poses a problem. But I do think this team has a lot of versatility.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's now on the onus of Tom Thibodeau. Now we're really going to get a chance to see, can he use this versatility?
Can he expand offensively? Because honestly, we got to, for us to be effective, it's going to be attack mode. Honestly, like we're going to have to utilize these small guys and attack and try to get teams in foul trouble. Try to use that basketball IQ. You know what I mean, and make the right reads. We're not gonna come in and dominate by overpowering or over jumping. And, you know what I mean, like, so it's gonna have to be skills and IQ.
Skills.
Well, hey, speaking that you said that, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So do you guys think that because that's how we're going to have to play and attack, do you think Tibbs does something different? I don't know. I probably already know the answer to this, but do you think he gets into attack mode and makes this Knicks team into a running team, like pushing the pace and trying to kind of, you know, get like, because we're still, even with the addition of DiVincenzo, we're not a great perimeter shooting team.
Right.
So, I mean, if we were aggressive into, you know, pushing the pace and getting to the paint quick and setting up and getting good, you know, fast opportunities, we're not talking 7 seconds or less, but still, I wonder if he would even consider pushing the pace, because Josh Hart is good on the break. DiVincenzo's good on the break. Obviously, you know, Brunson can hold his own, whatever he's doing. RJ fits well in that when you give him a lane that he can fit, you know, fill. Even Julius will get up and down the court. You know what I mean? I think the Knicks could run a little bit.
Now, the only
I think he wants to run, to be honest.
Yeah.
What have you heard Thibodeau say? First of all, have you ever heard him say, slow it down, slow it down? I have not. But I definitely have heard him say, you know, speed it up.
Go. Yep.
So I think he wants to run. And I think I'm speculating, but he's probably told Grimes, hey, you need to work on this and this, because I think it has to do with personnel. Hence, I think DiVincenzo will help that. I think Josh Hart did help that immediately. One man fast break. You know what I mean? It was like once a game, he'd get one of those rebounds, and he's the guy, you know, bringing it up the court and outrunning the rest of the other team, getting an easy layup. I don't want to say easy, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Attacking.
Yeah.
So I think he wants that, and it has to do with personnel.
Yeah. Now, I have something to, you know, just respond, add to. But let me get to a phone call first, and then we can add to a call. You're live. Name me where you're from, please.
Sim at Spree, what's up?
Spree, what's popping? Oh man, I ain't heard from Spree in a minute. It's been a while. What's up, Spree?
Did you have a good
on all the shows
off-season?
today, though.
What'd you say?
Did you have a good off season, man?
I mean, personally, I think so.
Yeah.
You know, I did a lot of traveling. I was back and forth. You know, up and down the East Coast all summer long. But you know, it's decent. It's good.
Good. Yeah, you got to get away. You know, it took me a while to get over Game 6, but you know, you got to get your rest in, Sim. So you do so much for the community. So I'm happy you're back. I love your content, of course. So I'm excited, man. Look, it was a fun season last year. I'm not letting the Heat series diminish what that team accomplished. I have a couple questions. My question is, do you think we have enough shooting now on the team?
Man, you know, it's gonna all depend on if these other guys are gonna pick up their shooting percentage, right? You know, is RJ gonna knock down shots? Is you know, Quickley gonna? I mean, Quickley I think shot what 38% maybe, right? Something like that. Quickley. You know, it's gonna depend on these guys. Julius Randle. Right. You know, are these guys going to pick up their shooting percentage? You know, I think Dante DiVincenzo is going to come in and shoot. I think he'll continue to shoot well. I think that Jalen Brunson's going to shoot well. Right. Hopefully, Quentin Grimes shot 38% last year. He'll probably shoot well. You know, can we get some other guys to join along with him and shoot well with him? You know, I will say this: I think Dante DiVincenzo adds just a faster gun, a quicker gun.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we need that.
Yeah, his trigger is much quicker. You know, he can catch the ball on his toes and get up quick. Boom. You know, he has that. He's not Steph Curry, but he has that Steph Curry type of ability to catch the ball really quick, boop boop, and get up in the air. And I think that's something that the Knicks were sorely missing.
I agree with you on that. I mean, like, my whole thing was, I thought we lost to the Heat. Obviously, yeah, IQ got hurt. Randle was not 100%. I'll give you, we were nicked up, but we also just missed shots, man. We couldn't shoot. The RJ Josh Hart combo, and I'm not dogging RJ because I'm pulling for RJ. He had a lot of good playoff games too. To be fair to RJ, but
he did.
The Heat, we couldn't shoot Sim. It was just, and even when Tibbs went to Grimes, I thought it was a game late. I thought the combo of Hart and RJ was not working. I would have went to Grimes probably a game earlier, but to be fair, Grimes didn't shoot it well in Game 6. So I don't know, man. Like, you know, in basketball, it's a make or miss league. I do agree with you. I think we got more shooting. They're going to be better at shooting this year, man.
I hope so. You know, I think that Dante DiVincenzo also adds another guy that can break down the defense some, right? You know, he's not going to do it on every possession. You know, we were having a discussion with Josh about this last night. Look, he's not going to do it on every possession, but he's a guy that can help in that area. You know, so I think you add a guy. You know, he's got a lot of versatility. You know what I mean? And I think he can help put pressure on the defense through backdoor cutting. You know, some breaking down the defense. You know what I mean? Obviously, shooting the ball the way he can get the ball up in transition by dribbling or passing. You know, I think he does a really good job seeing the floor. You know, I think he really does add a lot, and I'm interested to see how Tom Thibodeau is going to use him.
Yeah, I'm interested in that too. We're going to see how. I think he'll fit in. I think he's going to fit in. He's a ball player. I just think, look, a lot of fans are down on IQ. I know he played bad in the playoffs. Like it was his first playoff. Like, anytime you're in the first time in your playoffs, it's a different intensity. So, like, I'm not as worried about IQ. He got hurt in the Heat series, to be fair. I personally believe a lot more in IQ based off of what I saw for most of last season. I just thought IQ read the floor better. He was more of a point guard. He could do more things. He was stronger around the basket. Sim, I think he's going to be fine in the playoffs. I'm not one of the Knicks fans that's actually worried about IQ. I'm higher on him. I think it was his first playoffs. He got a little bit hurt. And to be fair to RJ, I thought RJ made good reads in the Cavs series. I went back and watched the film, Sim, on RJ. I was proud of RJ. He was under control. Did he have a couple bad shooting games in the Heat series? Yes. But I think there's hope for RJ, too, that he's going to make the right reads and have a nice year. I do.
Yeah, I mean, listen, hopefully what I really hope with RJ is that the experience in the playoffs, really helped them. The playoffs, and then, of course, FIBA basketball, I really hope he grabs something from those experiences. You know what I mean? And then he's able to apply it this upcoming season. And like DJ Shuttle said earlier, the Knicks need RJ to get off to a fast start. You know what I mean? They can't have RJ, waiting around until the end of December to start making some shots.
No, I agree with you. And let me just say this one last thing before I let you go, and it's always a pleasure. I appreciate you giving me the time. One thing on Jalen Brunson, you know this, Sim.
Mm-hmm.
I love Jalen Brunson. He's an all-star player. He's so smart, he's going to figure it out. But, Sim, let's be fair about this. I'm not saying I think Jalen Brunson can have a very similar season like he did last year. But you know this. After what he did last year, teams are going to make the others even more of an emphasis, beat them more than Jalen. And I think it's going to be I'm not saying he can do it because I think he's smart enough to do it, but they're going to be gunning for him more, especially early on. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. I agree. You know what I mean?
That's
what happens.
I believe it.
Yeah. Spring.
All right, Sam.
I appreciate it, man.
Thanks for the time, my man.
No doubt about it. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's what happens, man. When you when you do what Jalen Brunson did last year, you now have a target on your back. Teams are coming after you. You know what I mean? They're coming after you. But we'll see. I really want Tom Thibodeau to open up this offense a little bit more. We were talking about them playing a little bit more up pace, faster pace. I don't see it happening with the starting unit, though. With the bench, I could see it. But, I mean, you're coming back with the same Jalen Brunson, R.J. Barrett, Quentin Grimes, Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle. I don't see that unit getting any faster. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I can see the second unit, playing a more up-tempo basketball game. But if you're not injecting anything new into that first unit, I don't see that they play any different. Now, if Julius Randle gets some time with, let's say, Dante, DiVincenzo, Emmanuel Quickley, then maybe you do see them play a little bit of a faster pace. And that could happen, because, Julius Randle normally plays the first 12 minutes of the first, plays the first quarter. You know what I'm saying? And then you start seeing the lineup start to change. Someone is coming in for Jalen, someone's coming in for RJ. So it is possible that you see Julius Randle get some, playing time with Emmanuel Quickley and Dante DiVincenzo, which could have them play. Because if you get Julius Randle, the Knicks don't utilize it, but if you get Julius Randle going downhill, it's almost impossible to stop him when he's going downhill and has a head of steam. Who's stopping him?
Right.
Very little people in the league are actually going to stop Randle when he's going downhill like that.
And I don't even think like I said, I was asking the question, but I don't even believe I could see it really happening that way because it's almost counterproductive, right? How can you push the pace and use that as an advantage when you're going with the shortened rotation? Like you're definitely going to tire your guys out. Like It's not an advantage for your team. It might work for a certain amount of time, but once they get tired, it's a different story.
Yeah, different story. No doubt about it. since we were talking about Randle, we might as well hear what Tom Thibodeau had to say about Randle and his continual improvement. You know, Tom Thibodeau's always gonna, you know, harp roses on Julius Randle. We know that, right? You know, that's his guy. But this is Tom Thibodeau talking about Julius Randle, and not just Julius Randle, but also RJ and Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle having to make sacrifices. I want to know what those sacrifices are that he's talking about. But let's listen to what he had to say about Julius Randle.
I think, you know, like we love when you have young players, you know they can get better. And so, and when I look at a guy like Julius has gotten better every year. So keep improving. Same thing with Mitch, you know, RJ, you know, and RJ, people, we all tend to forget how young he is, you know, but he's gotten better every year. So Jalen's gotten better every year. So just keep, you know, putting everything you have into each and every day, and it's really how you function as a team, you know. And so it's not about the individual as much as it is the team. Everything, just keep doing. Like, look, it's hard to be all NBA 2 out of the last 3 years, like what he's done. So he's gotten a lot better, and he, you know, last year at the end in the playoffs, he was nicked up pretty good, as we all saw. And I think he still had, you know, I looked at the Miami series. He had some really good games against Miami, and he was doing it like on a sore ankle. So just keep growing. I think every year you're going to learn different things. You don't get there all at once. And when you look at his career, it's one of the things I really respect. He's gotten better every year, and he continues to get better. And so, and now to figure out, okay, we got to do this together. So, you know, Jalen, RJ, they got to make sacrifices too and put the team first, and I think they've done that. And then our whole group has to do that. So how can we bring the best out of each other? And that's the challenge that we face.
So my question is that, listen, we know about Julius Randle and, you know, getting better every year and all of that stuff, right? We get it. And I do want to find out from both of you where you think Julius Randle could possibly go this year. But he talks about Randle, RJ, and Brunson making sacrifices. What sacrifices do you see that they have to make? And I guess we can start with Randle, then we can get to RJ, and we can get to Brunson. What sacrifices do you think he's talking about?
I don't know what he's talking about, but I know what I've been thinking about with regards to Julius. I've been saying that, first off, Julius had a really good season last year. It's an understatement how good the season was. Okay, the playoffs kind of put a damper on things, but once again, in fairness, you got to look into the fact that the guy did get hurt, and it was a really bad injury, worse than we thought. And then he re-aggravated it. So come on, we got to give the guy a little bit of a break, even though it looks like another playoff scenario where he doesn't show up. I get it, but 25 points a game, 10 or 11 rebounds, 5 assists. Some really nice numbers, man. All NBA and, you know, all-star appearance. What I would like to see from Julius Randle is, you know, you got Jalen Brunson here now. You know, you got Josh Hart here now for a full season. And now we've added DiVincenzo, who, you know, should definitely make your job a little easier out there overall. I don't need 25 points per game from Julius Randle. Let me take my foot off the pedal a little bit. Let me give you 23. You know what I mean? Let me that extra energy that I'm spending on the offensive end. You know, I'll pass the ball. I'll move the ball around. I'll pick my spots. When you need me, when it's there, I'll take it. But I want to focus on continuing to do what I've been doing, but also adding a little bit more on the defensive end. Maybe I can save a little energy here because I'm doing the reverse. For whatever reason, when I look at Julius Randle, he does the reverse. He goes out there on defense. He has plays where he's like a bat out of hell. And he's really, you know, Then he gets himself a little tired, a little winded. He's got to come back down on the offensive end. He's got to exert that energy because this is his time. Then he starts to loaf a little bit on the defense. He picks his spots because that's the one thing about Julius Randle. If you really watch him play, you'll notice that as much as people like to say Julius dogs it out there, he has his moments where he's definitely loafing around. But when he wants to go, he goes so like intense. Like he's pushing so fast with all his energy.
Yeah.
He might try to block a shot out of nowhere, like, and he's speeding down the court and doing all like. You got to pace yourself, especially on defense when you know defense is where you sometimes lack. It's not that he's not a good defender. You know how it is with Julius. He just doesn't always give the effort.
Yeah. You know what it's like? It's like when somebody is going into, they say, oh, you know what? I'm hitting the gym now. I'm getting in shape. And they go hard for like 2 months, super hard. But then they burn themselves out after that 2 months. And now they're like, I need a break. And then next thing you know, they haven't gone in 3 weeks. It is like that with Randle sometimes. You know what I mean? He'll go super hard, for a few plays. And then, you know what I mean? Feel like, well, I got to take a break. How much do you think, because I don't like when Tom Thibodeau plays Randle the entire first quarter. How much do you think that plays into it? Like the length of time that Tom Thibodeau is keeping Randle on the floor. How much do you think that plays into it?
Well, I don't know what Tony's thoughts are. I don't want to,
Not good.
Here's the problem with Julius Randle. See, like the Knicks got some funky players, man, because as much as I think it's bad to continue to play Julius all those minutes, I think Julius is used to it. So when he's not playing those minutes, he don't get into his proper rhythm sometimes, and it could be a long game for that. He uses that time effectively to get himself into the game, and when he don't get when I notice when Julius minutes are cut and he doesn't get that good rhythm early, he's not the same player. So I don't know. It's bad because he's getting played too much. But then when he doesn't play, I don't think he develops the rhythm that he's accustomed to and used to. Because the problem with this too is everything that's happening, what Tibbs is doing, what the coaching staff is doing, is creating habits. It's habit forming, and these guys get used to it. Just like the way we get on RJ. Well, why is RJ doing this, or why is RJ stat padding at the end of the games? Why is RJ not passing when there's a guy open? It's because your coaching staff is allowing it. Maybe sometimes the player takes it on on them to do it, but if it happens enough, the coaching staff is supposed to nip it in the bud. But if you keep it going, it becomes a habit. So now guys are used to it. So the problem is guys like Julius, are they have these certain types of habits. Guys like Quickley, who can jack up certain shots whenever he wants to, and he's not getting chastised about it. It's poor habits. And you keep it going. And then when you try to take that away from them, then you throw off this like a baseball player. I eat a chicken salad sandwich every day. You take my chicken salad sandwich away, and now I can't hit. I'm 0 for 4. It's just, I don't know. It's crazy.
Tony, any thoughts?
As far as Randle, I think it's really just about being quicker with the decision, quicker to give up the ball. You talked about the guys he has around him. Let those guys help you. You know what I mean? Like, we know what you're accustomed to from 2 years ago, and we know what you're accustomed to from, technically a year ago. The season hasn't started yet. You know what I mean? But you have Brunson now. You have Hart now. You got DiVincenzo now. Let these guys make your life easier. You know what I mean? Become a finisher at times. That's some of the sacrifice I would want from Randle, in particular.
What about Brunson? I mean, he mentioned all three of them.
He did. For Brunson, I don't know, man, because
that's what I'm saying.
We kind of need what we get from him. And and he's good enough. He's good to where when he's not having a good game, he don't, you know what I mean? He knows how to fall back offensively and do other things to help the team. So I don't know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Or he could have a bad half and come back and still have 24. You know what I mean?
Right.
He don't turn the ball over. So I'm not really sure how much more sacrifice.
The only thing I can
We would
think
need.
of is, just him,
Minutes.
maybe minutes.
That might be the sacrifice for him
That
with these additions.
right. That could be the possible sacrifice for Brunson, right? Some minutes, which, uh, teams are going to come at him this year. They're going to be physical with him. They're going to try to come at him. So, he may need, some other guys to step in and play a few more minutes. Obviously, when you need him to be there, you know what I mean? Then he's going to get as many minutes as he needs. You know what I mean? But, that's I get it. I think so. And RJ, RJ just got to come through. RJ just got to come through. I don't know what the sacrifice is. Maybe that's minutes too. I don't know.
It might be minutes. It might be role. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Maybe you're not number 2 now, and maybe you know what I mean. Maybe you're the 4th option now. You know what I
Right.
mean? I'm just throwing something out there. I'm not. You know what I mean? But it may be the role, because that's something he's had to adjust with, throughout his time with Tibbs at the very least, going from adjusting from not closing games. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, listen, we need you throughout the game. We need you, da 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 da. But if the free throw is not up, the free throw percentage is not up. You know what I mean? If the 3-point percentage or the 3-point shot is not falling tonight, you may have to sacrifice that closing role. You know what I mean? For a Grimes or IQ or a DiVincenzo or you know what I mean, or Hart or whomever. So it may be same thing. Minutes, role. I think it all goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
We maybe he's saying we deep enough and it's minutes for everybody. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's the key to our success.
Maybe. Let me get you a phone call. All right. Caller, you live. Name me where you're from, please.
Yo. Stafford Dunn on the check-in calling from the
What's going on, my
South
brother? How you feeling?
Carolina.
Rhythm beats, po. Okay, go ahead, Stafford.
Talk about them Tibbs haters.
What's going on, Sim?
I'm good, man. How you been?
I'm good, man. Long time to hear from you, General.
Yeah, man. It's been a busy summer, up and down the road, a busy summer, but we back in the saddle. We ready to go.
That's what's up. Shout out to that still Knicks guy over there. And shout out to Tony, man. Black is time, man.
No doubt.
But let me just chime in on something that y'all was discussing last night.
All right.
Today on Queen's Court. And I'm gonna touch a little bit on Randle real quick. I'm gonna do the Randle thing first.
All right.
I think we kind of overreacting with the Randle just a little tad because we seen Jalen Brunson came in here last year and released a lot of pressure off of Julius. So I don't know. I think Julius will be willing to anyway what the coach need him to do. Just like how I see RJ said, listen, I'm willing to come off the bench if anything. That means whatever sacrifices that they need to do, they're willing to do it to help the team get to where they need to go. Right. So I think when it comes to sacrifices, I think Julius know what he needs to do and how he needs to approach it. And I think he will do it with a willing heart. Now, if it's to reduce minutes, as Tony would said, fine. You know what I'm saying? We could see that because we have more versatility, on this team a little more. So, as they quote unquote say, kids might run him down, but I feel like a player like Julius Randle, he always wants to play regardless if he's tired or not because he's that type of person. So we have to protect him from himself when it comes to that. So when I think about the whole sacrifice thing, I don't think it's really a big deal. I think he's going to be having a willing heart to step back whatever role that Tom Thibodeau has for him. Now, that's just my take on Julius Randle, right?
Okay.
Okay, the next thing now, and I think we had this conversation, me and you and Tony had this conversation last year about my son, and I feel like y'all not giving my son a chance. Y'all not giving Quentin Grimes a chance. I feel like because DiVincenzo, Dante, let me say Dante, comes in here is automatically he's on the bench or he's not going to do the things that Dante is going to do. I really think that he's going to have a breakout year soon. I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong, like how I see he did last year with the whole so-called Cam Reddish feud that all three of us was arguing about, right? And I think he's going to shock some people. I think he's going to be a more better ball handler. I think his shot is going to be more efficient. And I think even though they said it's his job to lose, I still think that he's not going to lose his job. I think he's going to endure the whatever fault he's going to go through, right? And he's going to get through it. But I feel like we need to give this kid a chance and not just write him off on the bench so quick just because we have Dante coming in, right? I heard I heard Parrish Duggar said earlier he's a year over a season and he should come off the bench. I disagree because if we're looking for a big superstar, we have to develop these players and show the other teams that, when we going for your player, let's say, for instance, like a Joel Embiid, that we have guys like Quentin Grimes, Mitchell Robinson, Quickley, all these guys has developed in order to get the player that we need. So I don't think that we should just go ahead and say, let's just bench him. I know you're not saying that, but I'm just saying that we should give this guy a little more leash. Give him some more touches. Let's see what he can do. And Tom already does this already. I heard the Queen say it already. Within the 15, 20 games, if the lineup is not working out, he makes a change. So I think y'all should lay off my guy a little bit, Sim. You and Tony. Just a little bit, bro.
Listen,
just a little bit.
I like Quentin Grimes. I just feel like there's some things that Dante does better than him. I'm not saying that he's going to start over him. I just think there's some things he does better than him right now. We'll see we'll see how he comes back after the offseason. Training camp starts tomorrow. We'll see how he comes back. And it's his to lose. And I'm good with that. Like we were saying on the Queen's Court earlier, right? I'm cool with it. I actually like the fact that, you know what I mean? He's gonna keep his starting spot, but it's his to lose. He's got somebody breathing down his back. Now, now it's the onus is on him to come out and perform and make sure he keeps that spot.
And Stafford, I just want to add, I'm on record saying I wouldn't be surprised if Dante DiVincenzo or Quentin Grimes, one of the two of them, wins Most Improved Player or is in that conversation, because I think they both have the opportunity. Obviously not both of them. Both, that would be great. But I think one of them will have that opportunity to take a leap from what they've been doing throughout their career.
When you say most improved, you mean in the league or just on this team as a whole?
I'm saying in the league. Like, I think Grimes is capable of having...
You really think Grimes could get that award?
I think he's capable of having that type of leap this year. Absolutely. He's putting the work in.
I love my boy, but I wouldn't go that far. But I'll probably give the edge to DiVincenzo. I keep saying this guy's name wrong. Dante. Let me just keep saying Dante. I think Dante probably has a more chance of getting it, but I still think Grimes is. I think he's going to make a leap, yes, but not to the fact where you saying that award. I think that's a little too much pressure on the kid. My opinion.
We'll see.
Nominations are not is good enough for me.
Okay. We'll see. I want to see Quentin Grimes come back and be able to put the ball on the floor a little bit more, create for himself. When the time calls for it. I feel like he's tentative handling the basketball. You know what I mean? I want to see him improve in those areas. Slow down a little bit. Sometimes he's going, 1,000 miles an hour. So sometimes
his release is very quick sometimes when he's forcing up shots. I agree with that. Well, let's see what all this J.J. Redick and Penny Hardaway training translate to training camp and in games.
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna see. And as far as the starting lineup, I feel like let's see what happens first before we start making predictions of the starting lineup.
I mean, the starting lineup is already set for right now.
Which is the same five from last year,
Same five from last year. It's already set.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's already set. Then Tom Thibodeau's, he's really continuity. That's his thing right now. Continuity. So I think that five is set, and it's good. I think it's smart. Right? You start there.
So let me ask you one more question, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I see it's I think it's either been an argument about this whole shots thing. Where do you see the pecking order, right? Because I see Mitchell Robinson in the social media and his trainer talking about he needs more touches. He's learning something against his back. He got a few offensive moves. Quentin Grimes, he needs to bring up the ball more ball handling. We know Julius going to have his shots. We know RJ going to have his shots. We know Brunson going to have his shots. So what's your picking order as far as the shots for these, especially for Mitch and Quinn to get more shots? How you see that picking order goes, and where you see the shots is going to fall for them?
I think that Mitchell Robinson needs to show the coaching staff in practice that he can actually post up with some defense on them, and not just with somebody standing behind him with a pad. You know what I mean? I think he's got to show that first before they actually say, yeah, we're going to give you the ball to score.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I think he's got to prove it there. And I don't think he has. I don't think he's done that in the past. You know what I mean? As far as Quentin Grimes, I think Quentin Grimes got about 8 to 9 shots a game last year. But there were times when he had the chance, and this is how he can get his shot attempts up. There were times when Quentin Grimes had a chance to create for himself, and he didn't have that ability right now, so he didn't create for himself. He passed it up. I think when Quentin Grimes gets that ability, or either gets the ability or the confidence to create for himself, I think you'll see his shot attempts go up 2 or 3 a game. So now he's maybe at 12 shot attempts a game.
But this is how I see it in the first unit, right? Because we already got 3 ball hogs already, right? Which is an RJ, JB, you know what I'm saying, and RJ, right? So it's like, I love Mitch. Mitch is my guy, but I want to know where he's going to get his shots from. You arguing for shots, you understand? And you can't even make a free throw. You understand what I'm saying? And you saying that your trainer said that you improve on your free throws. Well, we want to see it, and we want to see it translate in the game.
Yeah,
right? But I don't think he's going to get much shots with these 3 guys and a secondary person like Grimes putting up a lot of shots. I think his argument right now is like relevant to me. Now, if he gets a rebound and he has to go up and put it back, a layup, a little hook shot, fine. I understand that argument. But for you to really say, well, okay, let me run a play for you, Mitch, and put you down in the post, I don't think Tom Thibodeau is going to do that.
Right. No, he's not. He's not. So
I don't think
I
Tom
don't
Thibodeau
see
is going to do that.
until he proves that he can score and that, you know, score from posting up or whatever it is. Until he proves that he can do that, you're not going to see him down there. I mean, Taj Gibson got some touches down there, right? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
but obviously he proved.
you know, that's Tom guy from
But what I'm saying though, it's not that. It's not, oh, we don't want Mitch to get any touches. It's Mitch can't do it right now. He's got to prove it in practice first. That's what I think. If he proves it in practice, then let's see you do it in the game. And he showed some flashes last year. He showed some flashes.
I was waiting till y'all was done.
Yep.
Because I think Tibbs talked about him working on that in practice last year.
Yep.
And late in the season, I think we saw them utilizing it, especially when it becomes the mismatch on a switch or a bad matchup. Somehow a guard is caught on him. I think they worked on him figuring out how to seal, because I think that's what we saw late last year. A lot of seals, and then him attempting.
Right.
Another thing was off the rebound, him getting the rebound and going up strong. A lot of times he was doing that late in the season out of frustration. Like, these are, you know what I mean? Like, these are my only attempts that, you know what I mean? Let me try to yam it on somebody hard. But I think I think I think he's trolling. I don't think he's like really mad. I think he's been working on it, and at times we're gonna have to utilize it because he hears the talk. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Oh, he's only good for this, he's only good for that, and he's working on it in practice. It's gonna be times where we got to utilize it. Otherwise, he becomes a liability.
You know what I think also too? There was a poll that just came out with the best centers in the league, and he wasn't even on the first 15. So I think that's kind of messed with him kind of psychologically just a little bit, because we know he's a good offensive rebounder. We know he's a good shot blocker. We know he's a good paint defender. But I guess he wants to be in that conversation of an offensive player also too.
Yeah.
You know.
We'll see.
One more thing. I heard you said, Sim, that what you call the corner? The corner of death?
The coffin corner. The coffin corner.
The coffin corner.
Those coffin corners, man. You got 8 coffin corners on the floor, right? 4 of them there half court, and then the other 4 in the corners of the the other corners. The corner where you shoot from.
So what you're saying is that that's where Quentin Grimes is going to live all the time, in that corner.
No. What I'm saying is there were times throughout the season where Quentin Grimes, because there was pressure, got forced to handle the ball, and he dribbled right to one of those coffin corners. And I'm not talking about corners under the basket. When he did it, he dribbled right across half court. You step over half court in that corner, right?
Now
You get
can't
trapped.
go back. You can't
You can't go out of bounds. Right. You got the sideline. Right. You got the sideline. You can't go back court, and you got 2 players trapping you. That's a coffin corner.
Right. Yeah, there are numerous times that
and
he
he's
coughed
done
up
that.
the ball by doing that.
Right. He's done that. You know what I mean? So like,
okay. All right.
He and that a lot of times that comes from someone just not experienced in handling the ball in the pressure situations. So what do? They go, they dribble right to the sideline. You know what I'm saying?
And if you're taught that from like high school, elementary school, like if they stop right there, trap. You know what I mean? Like that may not be the play call, but if they stop right there, you trap him, he can't do nothing.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So like, you see it with high school kids all the time. All the time. They dribble right to that coffin corner, You know what I'm saying? Or they dribble right down the sideline, all the way down to the corner under the basket and get trapped. And you're like, man, what are you doing? You dribble right to where they want you to go. You know, it drives coaches
so
crazy.
Is that lack of awareness or lack of IQ?
It's lack of IQ. It's lack of IQ. It's not having strong enough ball handle to be able to, okay,
break it down.
You know, let me do a retreat dribble. Now I'm gonna square up. Now I'm going back towards the middle. Things like that. You know what I mean?
And also it could be lack of
enough.
practice as well.
Say
Because
that.
Quentin probably
I'm
at
sorry,
one time when he
Ron,
was
say
running
that
the
again?
point probably could do that.
Say that again, Ron.
No, I was saying at one time when Quentin was running the point back in his high school days, going to early, like he probably could do that and would focus on stuff like that. But when you out of practice, when you're a 2 guard now and not really running point, lose some of that stuff.
Yep.
And I heard somebody said, true, you know, he's just, as I say, is a pecking order, right? So I think if it ain't Jalen, if it ain't Quickley, if it ain't Randle, then it's probably him.
Yeah.
So you know, so I don't think the coaching staff probably have that faith in him to do that as yet.
Well,
But we're going to see this.
You know,
We're going to see this year. We're going to see this year.
Yeah. Hey, Stafford, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. Nice chopping up with y'all, man. You know what I mean? Nice to hear from y'all. Season about to start. Man, Charleston is 2 hours away from me, bro. I'm thinking if I should just head up that way. Tim, seriously.
Head up there. Try to, break in.
About it,
break
bro.
in. Break in. Head up there, break in, get some footage, man. No doubt. All right, Stafford.
I'm so serious. All right, man. Y'all take it easy. One love, man.
All right, peace.
Later, bro.
My man Julian Blum, he said, talking about Quentin Grimes, he said he did that twice. Geez, that's all. You only need to do it once before teams figure out this guy is afraid. And we will put pressure on him if he gets the ball and trap the hell out of him. You only need to do it one time for coaches to pick that up. Yep. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. You know what I mean? Once coaches recognize that and players recognize that, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, it's instinctive for any type of defensive, high IQ defensive player.
You're in trouble.
You know what I mean? So,
I mean, look at how they recognized that Julius Randle couldn't handle being trapped in the post. And what
from the blind side.
Yeah.
Once they he don't even look from this way?
Man,
all
and
right.
what the teams do, they started trapping the hell out of him, boy. You know what I mean? Because they was like, he don't know how to handle it. Start trapping him.
It's true. I'll never forget, Sim. It went from his most improved player season. Guys was double teaming and trying to trap to get the ball out of his hands because they couldn't stop him. Then the next season, it was like, no, let's trap him because he don't know what to do with the ball. Like it happened quickly.
Quickly, right? Exactly. You know what I mean? Start trapping him.
Another adjustment needs to be made.
Right.
You go back to the lab.
Yeah. But my man Stafford was talking a lot about, Quentin Grimes, Dante DiVincenzo. I want to hear, from listen to Dante DiVincenzo and what he had to say about, just joining the Knicks, some other stuff. All right, so take a listen, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dante DiVincenzo.
Couple things. One, first and foremost, I'm 2 hours away from my family, and family's everything to me. So, adding on to that, Nova guys are an extension of my family, Jalen especially, but ultimately, it's, I like to win basketball games, and looking at the layout of where I was potentially going to land, I felt most comfortable coming here, adding the family aspect, and then adding just what they've done last year, and how I can kind of plug in and benefit from everybody around me, and to help this team just go further. FaceTime Jalen and Josh. Jalen was dancing, but that's that's Jalen fashion. Josh making jokes. But it was good to see them kind of excited and relieved that I was joining them again. I think a big thing for us is not getting carried away with the Nova stuff. I think we had a lot of success in college, and we've had some success in the NBA so far individually. But ultimately, I know Jalen, I know Josh, they're developing relationships with everybody on the team, as am I. And ultimately, there's jokes always throughout the year, throughout the season over Knicks and all that stuff. But ultimately, we know what our goal is, and we know how to get there. And I think that's the stuff that we focus on in terms of the Nova stuff, is what it takes to go to the national championship in college, what it takes to stay together through adversity. But that's not the focus of this. Oh, it's going to be Jalen, Josh, and Dante to do stuff from Nova into the Knicks. Now it's how do we, we can rely on that, but at the same time, how do we develop these relationships and how do we push together all as one? I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, that's not my focus. My focus is to win games, whether I'm starting, coming off the bench, playing 20, playing 40, doesn't matter. My focus is to win games. I signed a 4-year deal here, so I plan to be here long term. And, ultimately I plan to win a lot of games here with these guys, whether the lineup is starting lineup, closing lineup, whatever it is. I trust in Tibbs' decision making, and, we go from there.
Ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to get your tickets. There's less than 10 available. So if you plan on attending this game with us, the Knicks versus the Cavs, November the 1st, make sure you get your tickets now. There's a link in the description of this video. Ron, what do you think about what you heard from Dante DiVincenzo?
It's just more of what you would expect from one of these Villanova guys. Very professional, handled himself well. His reasoning for wanting to be a Knick, I talked about it earlier on my show. This is what you want to hear. This is the type of stuff that just makes sense. And like you would think that you would hear this from more players with regards to the Knicks or any, organization. First off, it's 2 hours away from home. My family. Makes sense.
Right.
Jalen Brunson is here. Me and Jalen are tight. The Villanova connection, yes, of course. I think it was interesting how he kind of threw that. He didn't mean to say anything by it, but it kind of lets you know that on this team, him and Jalen are tight. You know what I mean? He's cool with the rest of the guys, but him and Jalen are tight, right?
He did. He said especially Jalen, right?
Right. The other thing, he liked what he saw from the Knicks last year. That's a good sign. You were paying attention. You did see some improvement. Knicks are a playoff team. They're trending in the right direction. Okay. I like to hear that type of stuff. And I just think I just wish more players looked at the situation like that. I like his makeup, man. I just think there's something about these guys, and that's why I don't make a big deal about this whole Villanova thing, the Nova boys. It doesn't matter. The reason why we keep wanting to get these guys is because that Jay Wright, whoever you want to give credit to, they taught them well. Exactly. They know how to handle themselves in the NBA.
Right. And you heard him talk about not relying on those relationships that they have, but wanting to develop relationships with everybody, not just relying on the relationships that they have with one another. You know what I mean? So how important do you think that's going to be for this team? That, they don't just, we're all from Villanova. We won a championship together, but, it's actually them including everybody.
I actually don't think that's something that the rest of the team should have to worry about. I think these guys are, like I said, they were taught how to be professional. They were taught how to carry themselves in the NBA, and they've all been really good, solid NBA players, just doing what's asked of them wherever they've gone. That's why so many people, so many different organizations have looked to acquire them. And even with Ryan Arcidiacono. Listen, I mean, we know that he may not have the chops right now to be a starter in the NBA or even in a prominent bench role in a rotation, but he's a solid guy. He's a solid bench presence. That's why the Knicks don't mind bringing him back, because you know what? Sometimes you need those type of guys on the team. Plus, he's probably a really good practice player for them.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's just It's more goes to the fact that I think they're all very professional. The only one that I would say might joke around a little bit much is Josh, but Josh Hart is also a dog. So if you if you don't respect his sense of humor and the fact that he has that type of fun with his teammates and can have that fun overall in the game, he'll back it up with the way he plays, the grit that he adds to the game, the little things that he does. He shows you, listen, I may joke around, but I'm all in. And
Right.
so that's why you respect it. So it don't matter to me. I think that's not something this Knicks team has to worry about. I think they all respect the fact that number one, it's about team. And I kind of feel like this is the first time since the fourth seed year where I feel like the team is starting to get back to having that gel, that team
That-
camaraderie thing
right.
again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you know what's funny? All of those guys, all of those Villanova guys, Josh Hart's best friend, Jalen Brunson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Archidecano's best friend, Jalen Brunson.
Right.
Dante's, who'd he say? Especially who?
Jalen Brunson.
Oh, what's up with Jalen Brunson?
Listen, everybody loves
That's the
Jalen,
popular
man.
guy, man. That's the popular guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully it works. They won a championship in college. They had Mikal Bridges, though, right? Yeah, the Knicks, they don't got him yet, but I'm sure he's looking over there like, wait a minute. My frat brothers is over there. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I need to get over there, too. I don't know, but maybe he is. But, yeah, I like what I heard from him. He doesn't care if he's going to come off the bench or if he's going to start. He's just going to go out there and try to win. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's just lip service because, he's been in both positions, a starter and a bench player on
Right.
championship level teams. So, I don't think it's just lip service. I think that's what, I think he knew when he came here that he was probably coming off the bench. You know what I mean? And he's, good with it. I think he's going to come in and play. I think he's going to be great for the Knicks. How they do? I think he's going to be
so
great for the
too.
Knicks. Yeah, really good. One of those guys that I don't know, that maybe he's battling. He should be playing side by side with this guy, Emmanuel Quickley. I love hearing Emmanuel Quickley interviews, man. He's very candid. He explains himself well. He does a much better job than Tom Thibodeau. Giving you some insight into things. You know what I mean?
All right.
He does a good job. This is Emmanuel Quickley. We'll start off with him talking about his contract extension, and then we'll go from there. All right? So this is IQ on his contract.
You right now with the contract situation, possibility of extension. Do you think about that? Does it matter?
Honestly, I just been doing what I normally do, which is working hard every single day to get better. I let my agent pretty much handle all that stuff. But I've just been locked in on trying to get better, see what I can focus on to get better for this year. Helping myself and helping my team try to win games. So,
Are you hoping for an extension before the deadline?
Whatever happens, happens, because it's all up to my agent and the Knicks at that point. Like I said, I'm just worried about trying to get better each and every day, trying to reach my full potential and see how good I can get at this game. So,
All right. Ron, do you believe that he's not really worried about it?
No, I think he is. I think he's trying not to worry about it,
Right.
but I think it is lingering in the back of his mind because he's in a different situation.
Yeah.
RJ got locked up quickly. No pun intended.
Mhm.
And I think Quickley understands that. I think Quickley deep down feels like the Knicks want to pay him, but I also think he understands that they're trying to figure out what this team is and if they're ready for the next level. And in doing that, they're also trying to make sure that they don't make a misstep because right now is a crucial time. And I think he understands that this organization hasn't had a winner in a long time. And so there's a lot of pressure on everybody from top to bottom.
Yeah.
So Quickly's a smart guy. He's a very smart
Very,
guy. I
very
think he
smart.
understands all of that stuff, and so I think that's why he might have a little bit of a little bit of worry in the far back of his mind. I think he's such a consummate professional. We know he's a gym rat, so I kind of think he's still he can put it out of his mind and play ball. But I know that he's kind of like hasn't happened yet. It's still there's a time and there's a window. There's a time frame on it. Like if it's going to happen by here or it's not going to happen until the off season. So I think right now he's feeling it a little bit, but it's not a big deal. But as we get a little closer, because I don't remember what is it February that they have until, and then they got to wait till the end of this off season. I mean into the next off season.
I think it's October.
Oh! It's even quicker than I thought.
Yeah,
I knew it was quick. I just can't
October
remember.
24th.
Oh well, then yeah, he's definitely it's definitely on his mind.
Yeah, gotta be.
Yeah,
I mean, every player says that, but in the back of your mind, and your agent is probably telling you, don't worry about it. Let me handle it, right? Let me talk with the Knicks. Let us engage in those conversations. You just focus on getting better. You know what I mean? But how can you not, especially when this is the first one? Right? It's the first one. How can you not? You know what I mean? There's no way you can't be worried about it.
Just real quick, Sam, I was sorry. Like he's making like $2 million, and change per year. And that's not like nothing to sneeze at. Any of us with regular jobs would love to have $2 million per year. But for him, you know what I mean? And for knowing that he's in the NBA and this is his moment where he's on the cusp of getting a nice size salary bump.
Right.
That's life changing. And that's family changing too. Like, with $2 million, you can't take care of everybody. You can help people out here and there, but you can't buy this person a house or, move your mother into another, you don't want to go broke. You want to hold on to some money.
Yeah.
But that next contract is when you can start making moves. So
Right.
I don't care who you are. There's going to be a little something back in the back of your mind.
Yeah. No doubt about it. That next contract is the one. You know what I'm saying? I think his mother is an assistant principal at a school in Harvard Grace, Maryland. She can, if she wants to, she may not want to, but, he really have enough money to say, you don't have to deal with those bad kids no more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But she might want to deal with those bad kids. You know how teachers are.
Right.
But I get what you're saying. So, yeah, the thing that he can be secure about is, he's getting paid this year. No matter what happens, they're either going to extend a qualifying offer, which he could choose to accept, and that'll be $6.8 million. So he'd get a bump. He's going to make more money. No matter what happens, he's going to make more money next year. But especially for my first rookie contract, I don't know if I want to take a chance. I don't know if I want to take a chance. You know what I'm saying? I want to sign that thing as soon as possible, get my first one out the way. Now I have wealth, right? I got this generational wealth. Now I'm making $80 to $100 million guaranteed. Now on the next contract, if we get to that point, I might, I'm going to bet on myself this time because now I got this money in the bank. But that first one, I think I want to lock that one down. You know what I'm saying? That's what Melo did, right? Because you remember way back when LeBron and them guys, when they went to Miami, right? LeBron and Dwayne Wade wanted Melo to not sign an extension or whatever it was so that they could have a chance to go play in Miami together. Obviously, it worked out, but Melo was in the mindset like, nah, I'm going to go ahead and get this. I'm going to go ahead and get this right now. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But yeah, if I'm Quickley, I'm like, I need it. I need to get this extension done. You know what I'm
Plus,
saying?
I mean, it's not a knock on him, but Quickley looks like the type of guy that, he likes money.
Yeah.
He likes to be able to travel.
Yeah.
He goes to Spain in the off season. He dresses. He likes to go to Fashion Week and all types of stuff. Yeah, he wants to have some bread, do some stuff. So, I'm sure it I don't care how good of a person you are. It's money that you know is in your future. It's just
Right.
it's not about how much or all that. It's about when. You know what I mean? Like Sim said, he's getting 80 to 100 million. I don't. It's an insult to give him less than 80. He's getting that. So
Right.
it's life changing.
How much do you think? How much do you think? All right, let's say he doesn't get his contract extension by October 24th. How much do you think that impacts a player during the season? Now, and I'm not talking about mentally or emotionally, but like, I don't know if I'm gonna dive on the floor for that one, because you know what I mean. Like, look what happened to me when I dove on the floor and bam, ran into my ankle. If I get injured too much, something serious, I'm not gonna get this money. Just like RJ didn't play in any pickup games last summer or whenever it was. Yeah, last summer, right? Because he wanted to make sure that he got his contract,
Right.
right? How much do you think that plays into the mind of a player, especially in Emmanuel Quickley's situation right now, as far as getting hurt during the season?
I mean, he's been fairly durable, but you never know that anything could happen. I think in those type of situations, I would hope, but you never know. I would think an organization would be in the position to tell a young player, especially if they make the decision to not pay the player like right away and let the season play out. Like, listen, please be patient, but your play and your patience will be rewarded. So, and I think that that's the type of stuff that an organization would tell a player, because if they expect that type of output, say Quickley is due to make 80, for your patience, we'll give you 90. You know what I mean? Not saying that that's what they would give him,
Right,
but I'm just
but
saying like
I
they
get it.
sweeten it for you rocking the whole season and just, being patient with us. So I kind of think that's something you would tell a player like that to put them at ease. Now, the flip side is, yes, anything could happen. And what I don't like in this particular situation with the Knicks, I don't know how many players are thinking about it. I don't know how the league is thinking about it, but it is what it is. But the Knicks kind of got a little bit of a black eye right now when it comes to how they deal with players. The Cam Reddish thing didn't go over that great. The Fournier thing that's happening right now, some players are on the fence. I'm sure there's going to be players around the league who can ball. They're like, yeah, Fournier ain't the best player right now, so he's got to understand this is what it is. But then there's the other players that are not the greatest players themselves, but they're making their money and they're on a team. And they're like, yo, that's kind of messed up, man. If I was Fournier, I'd be pissed. So, like, that's that thing. So, and I'm like, Quickley might be like, yeah, I don't know, man. They might throw me away at the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he has like some inside knowledge of that. You know what I mean? IQ. But you look at Kemba Walker, people, look at, I've seen people in my chat say, oh, the Knicks ruined Kemba Walker's career. And I'm like, no, his knees he was been done. You know what I mean? Kemba, Cam Reddish, Evan Fournier. Yeah. Yeah. Emmanuel Quickley, ladies and gentlemen, is one who's always working, right? He was asked about his improvement over the summer, what he worked on, where he thinks he improved. This is Emmanuel Quickley.
Looking for areas to improve. What are those areas that you focus on to get better this offseason?
I feel like I've gotten a lot stronger. Locking in with my guy Reese back in Miami, we pretty much went like 6 days a week, taking care of my body, lifting, eating right, stronger, and just pretty much every facet. Always working on the shooting and passing and things like that, and studying a lot of film, trying to get better in that area as well.
When you say got stronger, is it like bench press went up? Is it like ability to move?
Functional strength, ability to move, ability to just be able to help me do a lot of different things on the floor. Being able to guard is something that I try to continue to improve on so that I can be able to stay on the floor.
Like I said, always candid about what he's working on and what he's doing. I think we've seen him build strength last season, right? And he got stronger. You could see it in his body tone and his muscle tone. And you can see it, in his defense. And again, now he's still concentrating on that defense. There are people who believe that, one of these days he could be a defensive player of the year. You think so? You think IQ could one day be Defensive Player of the Year?
I don't know about. I don't know. It's tough because I do think he can be one of the best defenders in the league. Yes, I don't know if he could be Defensive Player of the Year because there's only. I mean, but anything can change. It's the thing about Quickley is I think he's got really good defensive principles, and I think he's quick. No pun intended. Once again, he is quick with his feet and his movements. He can get up and down the court. He's still a little stiff in ways to me, so I don't know. And he also doesn't have like super athleticism.
Right.
So that I mean, say what you want. It's great to have defensive principles and understand how to do things on defense and anticipate, but having extra athleticism doesn't hurt at all. I mean, that takes your defense to another level.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, maybe I definitely think he could be one of the better defenders, and who knows? Maybe he keeps working and he proves me wrong. I still think it doesn't change what I think he's going to be a really good defender. I don't know if he could be the best, but who knows?
Yeah. The thing about IQ, man, is the work ethic. The work ethic, I mean, you can hear it. It's off the charts. The guy just works. He wants to be great. He has a drive in him. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that the Knicks really love about him. You know what I'm saying? Is the drive that he has to just to be great. You know what I mean? I think that's what they really like about him. He, for a good portion of last season, he was the third best player on the team. Do you think what if Quickley elevated to be like clearly the third best player on his team? What then? What happens because of his size? And I mean, do you put him next to Brunson? They were going to put Donovan Mitchell next to Brunson. I mean, he does play defense. How if he becomes that? How what do we do?
Sim, I think going back to Tibbs's luxury of having some flexibility with these guards, we do got a lot of them, but that does give him some flexibility. And DiVincenzo might be the guy to help control that second unit because he has playmaking skills and he's a good ball handler. So that does give you the flexibility that if you really had to make that move, I don't think it makes sense for the overall foundation and structure of the Knicks offense and that starting unit. But I do think it's weird. It's like I always said that I think our best shooting guard on this team, our starting shooting guard, should be Emmanuel Quickley. However, because of the way the team was, the roster was constructed, I think Quickley has to be on that second unit because he provides the punch and the impact that we need because we don't have that.
Right.
And I also think that Quentin Grimes, I just think he works better in that starting unit right now, unless he starts to continue to elevate his game and take his game to another level. But right now, I feel like he needs to play off of the rest of these guys. And there was something you were talking about before, not to change the subject, but I wanted to mention it when you talked about Brunson. Like, what does Brunson need to do? I think Brunson really needs to step off the pedal a little bit himself and start understanding that it's not about him being a passer or facilitator. I think he does that, and he does it well at times. I think he needs to do a better job at getting other guys involved. You can get the ball to RJ and Julius, and they can do what they got to do with it. But getting the Quentin Grimes is involved, getting the Mitchell Robinsons involved, doing a better job of getting those guys involved because you never know in the course of a game where you're going to need those guys to step up. You got to keep them comfortable in the situation so that they can, be in a situation where you want to go to, like, first off, that's a bad example, but I'm just throwing it out there. For example, like Quentin Grimes being in the playoffs and we need big shots down the stretch of the game and he hasn't been used. And then you give him the ball and the defense is hectic around him. And now he's got to take a bad shot.
Right.
Or or Jalen Brunson in the last minutes of the fourth quarter trying to get a playoff and get a basket, but he got nobody to go to because the defense is swarming and he can't trust the other guys that don't get used as much offensively. Like, you got to try to develop some of these guys so that you never know. They put them in a situation they could step up. It could be a life-changing shot that builds up so much confidence. So now that guy is elevating. I'm just thinking stuff like that would be helpful for Brunson to kind of start doing.
Yeah, without a doubt. IQ, always, he's got some goals for the season. He said last season one of his goals was to win Sixth Man of the Year. Well, you hear him. I don't want to speak for him. All right, so this is IQ talking about his season goals.
I feel like I can be better. I feel like I can be a lot better. I feel like there's a lot of untapped potential that I have in my game. And I'm going to do everything like I've always done to try to reach that. Sixth Man of the Year was my goal, but even in not reaching the goal, you still become a player that you strive to be. Even when you don't reach your goals, you still are on the path of success when you're trying to reach your goals. So just continue trying to get better and trying to help my team win.
What are your goals that you're setting for yourself this season?
I haven't. I'll write them down pretty soon, but I haven't done it yet. But just like I said, it's just pretty much the daily work that goes into being a great player. I'll put some specific goals down soon, but just the continued work, the consistency to keep getting better each and every day is a big part of it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's Emmanuel Quickley. Said he's going to write his goals down. You know what I mean? I always like that because, I guess it's not always true. You can have them up here, but I just feel like there's something when you write your goals down and you see them in front of you. You know what I'm saying? That keeps them at the forefront of your mind. What goals would you have for Emmanuel Quickley?
I think he's actually, a easy, player to kind of think of goals for because he can do so many different things out there. He just needs to be able to do them more efficiently. Mm-hmm. For one, I think he needs to really cut down on the poor shot selection. Those poor shots, the shot selection's got to change. Some of those shots are just wild, and I don't think that's a big stretch for him. He can definitely easily cut down. He doesn't have to pull it from the logo, So I think he also needs to let the game come to him. I feel like when Quickley comes into the game in that second unit, he knows he's got to provide some offensive punch. But I also kind of feel like when they do the interchangeable thing where sometimes he's with the starters, and the second unit becomes like a starting unit where they mix and match, feels like he has to compete and show that he deserves to be out there with them. And rather than just letting the game come to him and him playing naturally, he might be forcing the issue sometimes. And I don't think that he needs to continue to do that. I think he also has to stay within himself. I always point to it at one point. Looks like he had a little bit of a drift on his shot, and so that's why he struggled early last season. He kind of corrected it throughout the course of the season. I don't know what happened to him in the playoffs. I didn't really study him to see. I mean, I'm not the greatest at pinpointing that stuff. I don't know if that the poor shot habits came back or if he was drifting again, why he couldn't knock down shots, but he was just really a non-factor. And it looked like he was kind of lacking confidence too. And which is surprising because, Quickley supremely confident.
Yeah, right.
So,
right.
So it was kind of surprising. So I don't think he has to do much. I just think he needs to continue to work on being efficient, keep getting those shots up in the gym, the repetition, make sure he's squaring his body up to the rim. Because my whole big thing about Quickley is I feel like Quickley can be a dynamic offensive player, but we don't always see it. He has his little microwave moments, but I can't call him, Quickley the microwave. That's for Vinny. Because Vinny the microwave did that consistently. I need Quickley to start doing that, man. You know what I mean? Like I haven't seen that yet from him.
Yeah.
Oh, and one thing I also this is weird too, but I kind of feel like we're never going to see the best of Quickley as a player coming off the bench.
I think
As a player coming off the bench,
if
I
he
think
comes
he's
off the
in a
bench,
starting,
you think he needs
if
to
he's in a
start
starting
to get
role,
the best?
we'll start to see Quickley evolve.
Yeah, that could be true. That could be true. You know, it's hard for me to see how it happens with this particular team. That's the reason why I've
Correct.
always thought he was going to get traded, because I just don't see
Yeah.
how it happens with this team here. You know what I mean? But you know what? Sometimes when a player develops and grows and becomes, starts to really come into their own, you might have to make other decisions. You may have to change course. Say, you know what? We got to keep this guy around. We got to figure out a way to make it work. Sometimes you got to do that. Yeah. But that was IQ, ladies and gentlemen. Any takeaways from today, that you have? I do have, an interview with Randle, RJ, and Brunson. They kind of did it all together, mixed up. But I didn't feel like they really said too much in there that we haven't heard. You know what I mean?
I mean, the only takeaway that I got from today's media thing is it looks like the Knicks wanted to give us a little bit more of that normal media day feel without setting themselves up to give you that normal media representation.
Right.
You know what I mean? Last year, they tried to do this whole interesting take on media
Content day.
Revolving doors, guys going behind, coming out like they're doing a David Copperfield magic trick. Okay, Obi's next, and this guy's next, and then it was cool, but it had a lot going on, and I think maybe they felt like it was just they put a lot of work into it, and they didn't have to do all of that. This was more of the standard type of thing, but still, like, I don't know if Sim, but was the regular media even invited to this?
Yeah, it was a very small group. There were a couple of pictures online, but it was a very small group of people there. I've been to a media day before, and they did it in the at the Westchester facility, and there were probably had 50 chairs lined up, for media. That's a good amount of media, and media from national media to local media to real small media companies. You know what I'm saying? And radio stations and things like that. This seemed reserved for your major local media, but your major local media outlets, New York Post, I think there were a few, smaller outlets there and maybe people who have connections there, but small group, the pictures that I saw were like 10. Very small room. It looked like it was like a 10 by 20 room, like the size of a garage. Looked like it was, small room. But, they're in another spot. They're in another place, too. Down there in South Carolina.
That's
small.
the excuse, Sam. That's the excuse. Yeah, we can't have more media here. I mean, just the capacity.
Exactly. They could have did it in the gym if they really wanted to, probably. You know what I'm saying? They could have did it anywhere. But it was really, really, really small. And I also feel like they are, because in the past they used to just stream it on Facebook or YouTube. The entire event. Now we got to wait for SNY or somebody else to put it out.
I was trying to find it
clips.
myself. That's why I missed it early.
Yeah. We got to wait for them to put out clips. I think that the larger new, media sites were like, listen, you put it out at the same time, and all the social media, they got the same info as us, the content creators. So I think it was like, y'all need to let us in first. Let us put it out to everyone, and then the content creators can do what they want with it. Because they did it the same way last year, and I feel like, it might go like this moving forward. Because I was waiting all day. The reason why I did this show this evening is because I was waiting to see the Knicks put theirs out. So everything that I played was from SNY. I'm waiting for the Knicks to put theirs out, but they haven't put it out yet. Probably come out tomorrow morning or something. So weird situation, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything I really, really took away from today. Some people feel like RJ said that he would come off the bench. He doesn't mind coming off the bench. I don't think RJ said that. Right? I think the question.
I wasn't getting that either.
Yeah, the question that was asked, you didn't hear the entire question, but I think the question was about him playing backup power forward. That doesn't mean he's coming off the bench. That means he starts, and then when Julius Randle comes out the game, RJ comes back in. So, like, he starts the game, RJ goes to the bench, after maybe 6 minutes in the first quarter. And then when Randle goes out, RJ comes back in at the backup power forward spot. Not that he's going to come off the bench. Yeah.
Right.
But,
I
I think
that makes sense.
Yeah, but I think when people heard, because he was like, oh, I didn't, I haven't heard anything about playing backup power forward. I think people took it like that, but I don't think it was that way. But I don't know if I took anything. I guess the biggest thing to take away from it is continuity. I think that's what, you heard it from Jalen Brunson a little bit. You heard it from R.J. Barrett. You heard it from Tom Thibodeau. The continuity of having, guys being together. R.J. Barrett commented on, he hasn't played an NBA game without Julius Randle being his teammate. You know what I'm saying?
Which is crazy. And you know what? Thank you for bringing that up, Sim, because I was wondering about that. I was like, why would RJ say that? I get it. Yeah, I mean, it's something crazy to think about, but why? Why now? Why say that now?
I thought about that too. Like, he said it. He's like, I was just thinking about it. Like, I've never been in the NBA without Julius Randle. As my teammate. He was like, and that's cool. Like, that's a cool thing. But it made me think, like, why are you thinking about that now? That's something that I thought maybe I would have heard last year when he was contract extension, right? Like, I've never played without this guy. Like that would be thinking, like, you know what? Maybe I need to play with someone else. I don't know. I thought about that too. Like, why now? But maybe it was just maybe they were having a discussion about continuity and how long he's been in the league. And he's only, he's always had Julius Randle as a teammate. Maybe it was just like a little epiphany that he had about it. I don't know.
Which is kind of weird to me because I always say that I don't think the two of them should be playing together, which is messed up. I mean, it's not right. I don't mean it to say like that. I just, if you look at the two of them, I mean, they occupy similar spaces and they're both lefties and they got similar games and they're both not the greatest shooters from three. And like, there's so many similarities to them. Obviously, Julius Randle's the better player, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I think that's it for most of media day for today. Tomorrow we'll probably get some, from players, from, some other players, right? After practice, they'll probably, talk a little bit after practice to this and that. But I think that was, I think we covered a lot of it from today, for real.
Yeah, I think that pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that is the key. The key is continuity. And I think that is going to be very important for the Knicks to start the season. I think that is their biggest asset in this new season because other teams they've got to build the chemistry, the rapport, and gel, while the Knicks should already have it coming out the gate. And that's why I expect the Knicks to get off to a good start. Yeah. So hopefully that translates.
How far do you think that continuity can take them? Because at some point, I can see where the continuity helps them rise to a certain level, but I would feel like there's going to be a limit. There's going to be a cap on how far the continuity. At some point, the chemistry can't get any stronger.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And and I mean, you actually fear that the chemistry gets to a certain point. It's like, okay, we're so strong, there's almost no place to go but down with our chemistry. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hopefully, it's a long time before they get to that point. But How far do you think just continuity can take this team?
I think. Well, I mean, if so, in two phases, I would say one phase, I think they will have another really strong year of continuity this year, right? For the full year, that continuity is going to play a big part in what the Knicks do and how they look out there to us as fans and to their opponents. And then realistically, just and the pacing of the season, I think that continuity is only going to play a big part in the first month and a half to 2 months of the season, because by that point the rest of the team will have their own little continuity and start gelling, and they're going to start playing ball, and that's when the Knicks are going to have to buckle down and keep fighting. But they can get off to a nice little start in that first month and a half to 2 months. They might be able to catch a lead, and that to me is the key to keeping them somewhere in the top of the East. Because the Knicks should be somewhere in the top 4 teams of the Eastern Conference in that first month and a half to 2 months of the season. If they're not, then to me that's not a good sign.
They got a tough schedule to start it. I mean, they played Boston 3 times or something like that to start the season.
They do, but hopefully they're catching Boston when Boston doesn't know who they are yet.
Yeah, hopefully.
You know what I mean?
Hopefully, because Boston is going to end up by the end of the season. They're going to be tough. They're gonna be tough,
right?
To deal with,
And if we lose to Boston, then does Fournier point over at Tibbs? See, this is the
right. Yeah. The coolest asks, why did Randle change agents? According to Randle, because he wanted to be closer to RJ. Because they got now they got the same agent. I don't know. I think. It's because next season, when Randle can opt out, he's looking for the money. That's what I think. And Aaron Mintz was his agent, probably too close to Leon Rose. And Randle and his team was probably like, yeah, let's go. Let me go to somebody else. You know what I mean, to negotiate with Leon Rose, because I feel like it's too much. Maybe he felt like it was too much of a conflict. Let me ask, do you think that changes anything, though, because of how tight, the Knicks and CAA have been? Think it changes anything with Julius Randle and his relationship with Leon Rose and those guys?
I mean, maybe, yes, a little bit, but I don't think it's not gonna be evident with his play. So as fans, I don't think we'll notice it, but it kind of, these little tidbits kind of lead me back to certain things, going back to even what RJ said that we already talked about. Once again, the fact that Julius did switch agents, the fact that I don't think Julius thinks the Knicks are going to retain him. I don't think, even though they might have it in their mind, like, depending on how this goes, he's in our future. I don't think he thinks that they're going to pay him the money that he's going to ask for, because he did take that discount and he's not taking another discount. And so, I feel like these players kind of, they're saying certain things just kind of show you, like, listen, I haven't been here without Julius. It's kind of been that thing. And next media day, Julius may not be here with me.
Right. Now, do you think, did Aaron Mintz leave CAA? That's what, I've seen it before, seen other people say it.
I don't know.
Everything that I've seen, I didn't see where he left CAA. I see that he's still with CAA.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see that. So I couldn't even speak.
And from the way that Randle was talking, he was like, Aaron Mintz has been, he's been great. He's been with me ever since the beginning of, my career, blah, 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 blah. But I wanted to be closer to RJ. To me, it sounds like he's no longer with Aaron Mintz.
Could be. Apollo, you
So-
might be right. I might be overthinking it.
No, he now reunites with former CAA agent Andrew Thomas. So he reunites. So I think he was with Aaron Mintz with CAA, and now he's with Andrew Thomas at William
Right. So
Morris
it
Endeavors.
doesn't necessarily let us know if Aaron Mintz left. Aaron Mintz might still be with CAA.
I think Aaron Mintz is still with CAA,
Yeah.
and he left and is now with he reunited with Andrew Thomas. Yeah. That's what it sounds like. That's what I'm reading here. Yeah. That's what I'm reading here.
I don't know. What we do know is, regardless of what happens, whether or not the Knicks want to pay it or some other team is going to pay it, Julius is going to get his money.
Yep. He's gonna get paid. No doubt about that. He's trying to get paid. And that probably put the Knicks on notice. Like, oh, you left CAA? Yeah, he's trying to get paid. Yep.
Yeah.
We'll see. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. I will be on tomorrow to talk about whatever happened, whatever's coming out of training camp. And I'll try to put out as much content as possible as I pull it down from sources, Twitter, here, there, wherever, and put it up there. But I'll definitely be on tomorrow, probably sometime tomorrow evening, maybe tomorrow during the day. I don't know. I like to let all the content get out and then talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Any last? Oh, I do have a last thing. I just want to remind you, there's like 10, ladies and gentlemen, about 10 tickets left. Less than 10, actually, tickets left. All right. So if you have not purchased your tickets to this November 1st game, first the Cleveland Cavaliers, make sure you get them right now because they'll probably be gone by the end of this week. All right. I've had people contact me to ask me, you still got them? And I'm letting them know, like, yeah, I got them, but pretty soon I won't. So if you're going to get them, you better get them now. All right. The link is in the description of the video. I also just put it in the YouTube chat. It's tagged or pinned to the top of your YouTube chat. And I can guarantee you, you're not going to get these tickets. We're at Center Court, sections 223, 224, 225. Right now, if you go on Ticketmaster, they're going to be $250. And we have them for $155. You're not going to get them cheaper. I promise you that. Unless you meet somebody out in front of MSG, and then you don't know what you're getting. You don't know what's going to happen. All right, so make sure you get those tickets right now, ladies and gentlemen. The link is in the description of the video. It's in your YouTube chat. All right, Ron, any last words before we get out of here?
Once again, thank you for having me. And listen to Sim, man. Don't play around. Don't be going out there in front of that the game, the arena, and trying to get them tickets. You get them $99 tickets, and you begin a ticket to the game 2 weeks ago.
For real. It wasn't a game 2 weeks ago. And they might be trying to give you a paper ticket, which I don't even think MSG is doing anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, don't take no chances.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the chat once again. Thank you guys. Yeah, mega. I think I might be having that chicken salad sandwich for lunch tomorrow. So yeah, it's on my mind now. Thank you guys as always, man. Listen, it's not gonna be that bad. The Knicks are gonna be okay. We're gonna be all right. In the end, they always gonna hate on us, and we're gonna prevail and show them that we're better than they thought we was.
No doubt about that.
But the other thing is, hey, if you haven't checked it out yet, man, all the boys and girls are talking about it. Newest show on NBK. Nothing but Knicks, the NBA wrap-up, 8:30s on Thursdays, man. A little bit of NBA, a little bit of hip-hop, and all love. You know what I mean?
Right.
Definitely check it out. Last episode was Don Michael Jr., really, really cool dude, very talented producer / hip-hop artist. And, we've got some other stuff lined up for shows coming up. So definitely check it out, man. It's really cool, and I think you guys will like it. And then you're also going to see some familiar faces. This next Thursday, I think you might see a familiar face. So definitely stay tuned.
No doubt about it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're out of here. Peace.
This is NBK. nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.